Hi, I'm John Stewart, Chief Investment Officer of Farmers Trust Company. This is the Investor's Edge.
The Investor's Edge, Market Insights with John Stewart, is brought to you by Farmers Trust Company.
Hi, I'm John Stewart. Welcome to the latest edition of the Investor's Edge. First up, the week in review. US dollar rises on the back of euro collapse. A lot of times we don't talk about currencies, but the British pound and euro currency both tumbled against the US dollar this past week as political upheaval in the UK, capped off by Boris Johnson's resignation, as well as fears of global recession, sent shockwaves through financial markets. The euro currency crashed to a 20-year low of around 102 to the dollar and headed towards parity. The dollar is widely seen as a safe haven in times of economic trouble and has soared against currencies around the world as fears of recession mount. Now, going forward, the strong dollar is likely to begin making it a little more difficult for US-based multinational companies that derive a significant portion of their sales overseas. A strong dollar makes US products more expensive to foreign buyers. Now, if the strong dollar begins to negatively impact forward-looking earnings estimates for US companies, further stock market volatility is likely as we move through the second half of 2022. For the featured insight, anything can happen. Well, I like to talk about risk management a lot because at the end of the day, good investment management is in fact good risk management. It's important to remember when managing an investment portfolio that pretty much anything is possible. Don't get into the trap of thinking that something could never happen. Some investors will expose themselves to a substantial amount of risk by taking a large position because they think a certain outcome is impossible. Usually it's an entirely different risk that you couldn't see coming that ultimately comes back to bite you. It reminds me of a story about a gambler who lost regularly. One day he hears about a race with only one horse in it, so he bets his life savings. Halfway around the track, the horse jumps over the fence and runs off. It's always important to remember there's no such thing as a sure thing. Looking ahead, earnings season on deck. Well, the earnings reporting season for the second quarter financial results will begin next week with the large banks first out of the gate. Given the substantial decline in stock prices during the first half of this year, it's been surprising we've only seen modest downward revisions to earnings estimates for the second half of the year. Now, as I've stated many times previously, it will be far more important to keep an eye on what companies say about their earnings outlook for the next two quarters than what the headline report is for the second quarter, which of course is already in the past. Now, if earnings guidance for the third and fourth quarter hold up relatively well, we could be in for a substantial recovery in the stock market. However, if analysts are forced to cut their forward earnings estimates by a meaningful amount, investors will likely be faced with more volatility in the coming weeks and months. Once again, I'm John Stewart. Thank you for watching The Investor's Edge.
The Investor's Edge, Market Insights with John Stewart, is brought to you by Farmers Trust Company.